Welcome to your week-by-week pregnancy journey. Being pregnant is an extraordinary experience. Think about it. Inside you, another human being is forming. Your child, growing from a tiny cluster of cells into a full-fledged baby, ready to greet the world. It's a time of profound change, both physically and emotionally. Over the next 9 months, your body will go through a remarkable transformation, and we're here to guide you through each step of the way. This video series will be your go-to resource for understanding the incredible changes happening within you and your baby. From those very first flutters of movement to the anticipation of labor and delivery, we'll break down each trimester week by week, exploring the physical and emotional milestones, addressing common concerns and questions, and offering expert advice to empower you on this incredible journey. So, let's dive in. We begin our journey not at the moment you see that positive pregnancy test, but a little earlier during what we call the pre-pregnancy period. It might sound strange, but doctors actually calculate your pregnancy from the first day of your last menstrual period. It's a standard medical convention that helps us accurately track your baby's development. During these first 2 weeks, your body is laying the groundwork for a potential pregnancy. Your ovaries are hard at work, preparing an egg for release. This process is driven by a complex interplay of hormones, the body's chemical messengers. Around day 14 of your cycle, ovulation occurs, the moment when one of your ovaries releases a mature egg. This tiny egg, no bigger than a pinhead, embarks on a remarkable journey down the fallopian tube towards the uterus. Now, if you've had intercourse in the days leading up to ovulation, sperm will be waiting in the fallopian tube, and if one lucky sperm successfully penetrates the egg's outer layer, fertilization occurs. It's a truly miraculous event, the very beginning of a new life. The fertilized egg, now called a zygote, begins to divide rapidly, transforming from a single cell into a cluster of cells resembling a tiny mulberry. This cluster, known as a blastocyst, continues its journey down the fallopian tube. Finally, around day 6 to 10 after fertilization, the blastocyst reaches the uterus and burrows into the thick, nutrient-rich lining, a process called implantation. This marks the official start of pregnancy, even though you might not even know it yet. Support your growing baby. Some women experience mild cramping or spotting around the time of implantation, which is entirely normal. Inside your uterus, the blastocyst is developing at an astonishing rate. It's now composed of 2 layers, the inner cell mass, which will eventually develop into your baby, and the outer layer, which will form the placenta, the lifeline between you and your baby. The placenta is a remarkable organ. It acts as a filter, delivering nutrients and oxygen from your bloodstream to your baby and removing waste products. It also produces hormones essential for maintaining a healthy pregnancy. Meanwhile, the inner cell mass is differentiating into 3 distinct layers: the ectoderm, mesoderm, and endoderm. These layers will eventually give rise to all of your baby's organs and tissues. It's incredible to think that such complex development is happening within you. By the end of week 4, your baby is still incredibly tiny, about the size of a poppy seed. But don't let their size fool you. They're growing rapidly. Congratulations! You're officially entering your 2nd month of pregnancy. This is a period of rapid development for your little one, with major organs beginning to form. It's like a symphony of growth happening inside you, orchestrated by a complex interplay of genes and hormones. By week 5, your baby's heart begins to beat, a testament to the incredible power of life unfolding within you. It's still too early to detect the heartbeat with a stethoscope, but specialized ultrasounds can pick up these tiny flutters. Meanwhile, the neural tube, which will eventually develop into your baby's brain and spinal cord, is forming. This process is highly sensitive to folic acid levels, which is why it's crucial to take a prenatal vitamin with adequate folic acid before and during pregnancy. As your baby grows, so does the amniotic sac, a fluid-filled membrane that surrounds and protects them. This amniotic fluid acts as a cushion, absorbing shocks and allowing your baby to move freely as their muscles develop. During week 6, tiny buds that will become your baby's arms and legs begin to emerge. Their facial features are also starting to take shape, with little indentations where their eyes and ears will form. By week 7, your baby is about the size of a blueberry and their intestines are beginning to develop. They're also starting to produce their own blood cells, a crucial step towards independence. As week 8 draws to a close, your baby graduates from an embryo to a fetus, a more advanced stage of development. They're now about the size of a raspberry, and their organs are continuing to mature. You're probably starting to feel more pregnant now too, with those early pregnancy symptoms in full swing. Welcome to the second trimester. This is often a welcome transition for many women, as morning sickness tends to subside, and energy levels often rebound. Your baby continues to grow rapidly, and you might even start showing a little bump. During these weeks, your baby's organ systems, which began developing in the first trimester, continue to mature. Their heart is now beating rhythmically, pumping blood through their tiny body. Their kidneys are starting to produce urine, and their digestive system is gearing up for its eventual role in processing food. One of the most exciting milestones of this trimester is the development of your baby's genitalia. By week 12, the sex organs are developed enough to be visible on an ultrasound, though you might choose to wait until your 20-week anatomy scan to find out the sex. You'll also likely have your first prenatal appointment during this trimester. This is an important opportunity to meet with your healthcare provider, discuss your medical history, and ask any questions you might have. They'll likely perform a physical exam, check your blood pressure and weight, and order some routine blood tests. As your baby grows, you might start to feel those first flutters of movement, known as quickening. It's a truly magical sensation, like a gentle butterfly fluttering inside you. Don't worry if you don't feel anything yet though. Every pregnancy is different, and some women feel movement earlier than others. By the end of week 12, your baby is about the size of a plum, and their reflexes are developing. They might start sucking their thumb, a heartwarming preview of the little person they're becoming. As you enter the second half of your second trimester, you might find yourself feeling more energized and less nauseous. Your baby bump is becoming more noticeable, and you might even be able to feel their movements more distinctly now. During these weeks, your baby's bones are hardening and their skin is developing a protective layer of vernix caseosa, a cheesy white substance that prevents their skin from becoming prune-like in the amniotic fluid. Lanugo, a fine, downy hair, also covers their body, helping to regulate their temperature. This lanugo will shed before birth, though some babies are born with a little still clinging to their skin, especially on their backs and shoulders. Your baby's senses are also developing rapidly. They can now hear sounds from the outside world, muffled though they may be. They can also sense light and dark, and their taste buds are forming. Around week 16, you might have an alpha-fetoprotein, AFP, screening test. This blood test measures the level of AFP in your blood, which can help detect certain birth defects such as spina bifida and anencephaly. It's important to remember that this test is just a screening, and further testing is needed to confirm or rule out any abnormalities. By the end of week 16, your baby is about the size of an avocado, and their movements are becoming more coordinated. You might even be able to feel them kicking or punching, especially when you're lying down and relaxed. Congratulations! You've reached the halfway point of your pregnancy. Can you believe it? It seems like just yesterday you were celebrating that positive pregnancy test, and now you're halfway to meeting your little one. During these weeks, your baby continues to grow and develop at an astonishing rate. Their brain is undergoing rapid development, with billions of neurons forming connections. They're also starting to dream, though we can only imagine what goes on in their developing minds. One of the most exciting milestones of this period is the anatomy scan, usually performed between weeks 18 and 22. This detailed ultrasound allows your healthcare provider to check on your baby's growth and development, examining their organs and structures in detail. During the anatomy scan, you'll get to see your baby on a big screen, marveling at their tiny fingers and toes, their beating heart, and their adorable profile. You can also find out the sex of your baby, if you choose to. As your baby grows, you'll continue to gain weight, and your belly will continue to expand. You might experience some new discomforts like back pain, round ligament pain, and heartburn. These are all normal parts of pregnancy, though they can be uncomfortable. By the end of week 20, your baby is about the size of a banana. and their movements are becoming more powerful. You might even be able to see your belly move when they kick or punch. As you enter the third trimester, your baby continues to grow and mature, preparing for life outside the womb. They're also developing their own unique personality, with distinct sleep-wake cycles and preferences for certain movements. During these weeks, your baby's lungs are developing rapidly, producing surfactant, a substance that helps the air sacs in their lungs stay open. This is crucial for breathing after birth. They're also practicing their breathing movements, inhaling and exhaling amniotic fluid. Your baby's eyes are beginning to open and close, and they can now blink. They can also perceive light and dark more distinctly. You might even notice them reacting to bright lights or sunshine on your belly. As your baby grows, you might start to experience some new discomforts like shortness of breath as your growing uterus presses on your diaphragm. You might also notice swelling in your hands and feet due to fluid retention. This is all normal, though you should mention any excessive swelling to your healthcare provider. By the end of week 28, your baby is about the size of an eggplant, and they're considered viable, meaning they have a chance of survival if born prematurely. However, their lungs are still developing, and they'll need specialized medical care if born before their due date. Congratulations! You're in the final stretch. These next few weeks will be filled with anticipation as you prepare to welcome your little one into the world. Your baby is putting on the finishing touches, gaining weight, and developing their reflexes. During this time, your baby's bones are fully developed, though their skull bones remain soft and flexible to allow for passage through the birth canal. They're also starting to store iron, calcium, and phosphorus, essential nutrients for healthy growth and development after birth. You might notice that your baby's movements have changed a bit. They have less room to move around now, but their kicks and punches are stronger and more defined. You might also experience Braxton Hicks contractions, sometimes called practice contractions. These contractions are your body's way of preparing for labor. As you approach your due date, your healthcare provider will monitor your baby's position and growth. They'll also check your cervix to see if it's starting to soften and thin, signs that your body is getting ready for labor. By the end of week 32, your baby is about the size of a jicama, and their organs are nearly fully developed. They're also starting to turn head down in preparation for birth. You've made it! Your baby is now considered full term, which means they're ready to greet the world anytime between now and your due date. These final weeks are all about waiting, preparing, and anticipating that magical moment when you finally get to hold your little one in your arms. During this time, your baby continues to gain weight, plumping up in preparation for life outside the womb. They're also shedding their lanigo and vernix caseosa, though some babies are born with a little of each still clinging to their skin. This is perfectly normal and nothing to worry about. You might continue to experience Braxton Hicks contractions, and you might also notice a bloody show, a sign that your cervix is starting to dilate. Your water might break, releasing a gush or trickle of amniotic fluid. These are all signs that labor is approaching. As you wait for your baby's arrival, it's important to listen to your body and rest as much as possible. You might feel a surge of energy, often called the nesting instinct, as you prepare your home for your new arrival. By the end of week 40, your baby is considered full term and is ready to be born. They're about the size of a small watermelon and weigh, on average, between 6 and 9 pounds. Their organs are fully developed and they're ready to breathe, eat, and thrive in the outside world. As we conclude our journey through the trimesters, I want to remind you that every pregnancy is unique. Just like each snowflake is different, so too is each pregnancy. Some women sail through these 9 months with minimal discomfort, while others face more challenging symptoms. Some babies arrive right on schedule, while others make a grand entrance a little early or fashionably late. The most important thing is to listen to your body, trust your instincts, and communicate openly with your healthcare provider. Regular prenatal care is essential throughout your pregnancy, allowing your doctor to monitor your health and your baby's development. Remember, you're not alone on this incredible journey. There are countless resources available to support you, from your partner, family, and friends, to your healthcare team and online communities. Don't hesitate to reach out for information, guidance, or simply a listening ear.